Hey guys, how's it going? Um, got a kitty in a box over here. I put a pillow in it. Um, it's not my cat, but she wants to do what she wants to do. And when she wants to come in, she wants to come in. So I kind of wanted to, well, not kind of, I'm coming on here to just let you know what was coming through was, when you have, how can I say this? Is it moments of clarity? Or yeah, maybe moments of clarity is a good way to say it. Where the sky's so beautiful looking out my window right now. It's so beautiful. But where what Serena, what do you mean by moments of clarity? Um thank you. I just heard in your groove, but the moments of clarity 111, like like no worries. Hakuna Matata. you know no worries, no concerns. You seeing clearly, yeah, clarity, moments of clarity. When the fog is lifted, when you get that spark in that moment of um, I'm not worried about nothing, everything's gonna work out. you know I have this cat. Yeah, moments of clarity. You see the bigger picture. um yeah, I'm hearing unapologetic. It's like you may not know exactly what you're doing next, or I just heard, or where you're going to end up. That's on the street, if you heard that. Um, but you're just nestled. You're nestled in knowingness. I like it. Nestled in knowingness. These and you know what? And tomorrow you may when you open your eyes, whenever, some people work overnight, right? So, but whenever you wake up again after, you know, your rest, your slumber for the day or the evening, um, it may be gone again. That sureness, that inner really knowing, and then it may be all scrambled again, jumbled, or just not as assure, not as assuredness, whatever. I don't know. Um, but it's in these moments, in our moments of clarity, we're sitting in this, and this happens. Always based around this. This is the strive, right? To balance it all out. And then you got to do what? That. And then what do you begin to see? But can you see the miracles in everything? Be excited and happy about everything. I know the shit that seems bad is always for your highest good, whether you can see it or not. And it might not be intangible things you can touch, but the inner workings of the being. Listen, I bought cigarettes and I started smoking again. No rhyme or reason. For why? Break free out of the cycle. that I stuck myself in. It's a conscious choice. I made a conscious decision to buy cigarettes again. I made a conscious decision. So, we are human after all, and love is power. Love is power. So, I wish I could bring to the forefront of what they were giving me before, the feelings, and I'm not, and right now I'm just not able to articulate it, put it into words. Re-energize through the power of love. And I saw 555. I just keep looking back at the kitty. She's in her box. I knew she'd love it. Every day, miracles. Every day's blessings. Do you have the eyes to see them? Waking up, a smile that's put on your face through your beautiful child or your animal, your fur baby, or you find a penny. That's free money. Look at it as money flows to you. You generate money. Money just appears on your path. Yeah, it might only be one penny, but maybe that penny means something else, and it's really significant to you. Like I picked up a penny out of Walmart yesterday, but I know I get left feathers and I get left change because they know how much I like change. Coins. You could see a penny, step over it, someone else picks it up, and it's a 1943 copper penny that's worth $1 million or some shit, being humble. And it's not, see a penny, pick it up all day, you'll have good luck. I mean, if you believe that, then that will be your reality. It's just, believe that. Whatever it is. Who cares if it sounds silly to someone else? It ain't their life, it's yours. It's yours. It's yours. Abundance. Abundance is your future. Whatever abundance means to you. Is it recognition? But you don't do what you do for recognition, 808, for some of you out there. Or validation, because, or validation. You've moved past that. Isn't it great? Isn't it great you don't no longer need to be validated? Isn't it great you no longer need anyone else's approval? Isn't it great when people talk shit from their own perspective and perception, however they want to take whatever's being said? Isn't it great that doesn't bother you anymore? It cannot affect you because you know who you are. And you know where it comes from and why they say what they say. Your heart's wide open. Everything that's happened to you, it didn't close off your heart. Maybe for a minute you're like, hey, I don't want, but it didn't harden you. I'm hearing that song, Harden My Heart. Gonna harden my heart, 919. Gonna swallow my tears. When in all actuality, people could really understand if you were like that, if it did harden your heart, but all it did was crack you open. And you let it crack open, and then you grabbed a hold of it and you said, I let this love and this light break free from me and open up and be all that I am, and I'm going to embrace that. You've built your firm foundation. And life is a mystery, and that's what you love about it. Because you know who you are, you know what you do, you know, and God knows what's in your heart and in your head. Nobody can tell you different. They're like, say 10-10, that you saw 10-10, and in my mind I'm like, no, I'm not gonna. I'm having a, while I'm talking to you, a whole nother conversation. Gave her a little comfort. Kitty. I just call her Kitty. And I just saw this move forward card, and then what came through was like, no matter what, there's something inside of you that hurls you, that pushes you, that eggs you on to go forward, even when you feel like you can no longer go any further. Bam, something clicks, 11:11, and you shift through it, you get through it. And maybe you're coming into the understanding of, hey, we're all the same. We all come from the same source, but maybe some of us play a different role. Why is it that God's always, no matter what you've done in your life, you've always had that strong connection to the divine, I heard, realm, to the oneness that we are, no matter what you've done in your life. I'm talking before, right? But, and I just got a notification, but you no longer look at your past. I was going to say past life. Doesn't it feel like you've lived more than one lifetime in this lifetime? So in your past, which is gone, but things that occurred, I lost it. It was all like a set up plan. If you knew 12:30 that you would make it through no matter what, would you move different in the world? I'm going to sit on that after I'm done with this, and I want to ask myself that question. I might even start writing, because that's where answers come. And whether it's for me or for my kids later, or for anyone later on that comes across, I heard my memoirs. They're not memoirs, they're just everything I've written down. Then so be it. But what's that saying? If you didn't have anything to worry about, bills, food, housing, nothing, everything was taken care of, then what would you do? Oh my God, I'm in that place right now. I'm in that fucking place right now. I could do whatever the fuck I want. Well, not really what I want, but you know what I mean. When God moves, I move. When God tells me to move, I move, so to speak. That calling, that, oh yeah, you've always been close to the divine no matter what you did in your past, but the things in your past weren't put there for you to be judged. Sinner. It was put there for your growth, to break free from the sinner society that bases everything on, if you think wrong, if you smoke a cigarette, if you drink, you're going to friggin' hell. Not saying those things. Obviously, those things aren't good, because our body is our temple, and we should be treating it as such, like it is the kingdom of God, like it is Jesus's body or something. We are to treat our body as a temple. It houses that divine spark that makes us who we are. So yeah, we should treat ourselves better. We should talk about ourselves better. We should think better. What's the best way to get out of your own head about what you're doing? It's to focus on service. I feel like being of service is the most important thing. But how do we come to that when we live in scarcity and everything seems so scarce? Remember, everything we need grows on this. Everything we need. And like Jesus said, doesn't Father take care of the birds of the air? So wouldn't the Father do the same for you? Wouldn't the Father do the same for you? To be able to sit in the relaxing knowing that you know who you are, you know where you came from, you know what you've healed, you know what your intentions are, then why wouldn't things that you need come to you? Why would your next step not be shown? Why wouldn't it be? You're a part of the divine itself. Wake up, right? Wake up. I mean, Jesus told us so. But it's not just that. What does your inner self, the deepest parts of you, your soul, speak to you? You got the whole world in your hands. What about, when you say the world, we're just talking about Earth, but what about the whole universe? Which is ever expanding, which is there's no end. It just keeps going and going and going and going and going. Just got another notification. God's family. They wanted these to come out, and the one that I didn't show was the King of Cups. The King of Cups. Emotional maturity I was getting, right? The king of your emotions, the queen of your emotions. Kitty wants to sleep on top of this other box. That's okay. She's a cutie. Her mom's a little upset that this baby loves me so much. I would be too, actually. But anyway, the Queen of Swords, the Queen of Truth, the King of Boundaries, interesting, of groundedness. I heard of getting shit done. Don't be mistaken, I heard, or dismayed. But you're nestled. Sometimes we're just nestled in our knowingness. And then other times we're like disconnected feeling. What was just coming to mind again was what I talked about in my last video. Somebody commenting, what am I good for or whatever. Well, they'll never know. How will they? It's like maybe some people just get angry because maybe they feel like they're super Christians or they're super religious, or they do everything perfect. They never did drugs. They never did this. They never did this. They never did that. And yet they don't have the connectedness to the divine like you do, or like I do, having done drugs in my past. And, I have some wine, drink some wine, and have some alcohol every now and then. Nothing like I used to, right? But and then Queen of Swords, they wanted me to show, and then they get jealous and they wonder why they can't, because it's not works. You got to go within. it's not all about those other things. Yet you're judgy. You're everything that goes against what you talk about and pray in Jesus' name. And it's given me that, you know, like the people saying, you know, what are you good for? It's like Jesus. Okay, no. All right, let me scratch all that. I'm not. People are going to be like, you're comparing yourself to Jesus. No, I'm using that as an example of what they give me, because he's the best example to live by, right? I just shuffled these, and all the same things were on the bottom. That, you know, it's like speaking in parables and metaphors and symbolically, you know what I mean? Somebody saying something and some getting it and some don't. Does that mean the person speaking? Does that mean, you know, when Jesus says, you know, you don't have the eyes to see or the ears to hear or whatever, does that mean what Jesus is saying isn't the truth? Or is it just you're not on that thank you. I was going to say level, but they said, no, you're not on that vibration, and it's a vibration thing. It's a frequency thing. So they're going to act some type of way. Or why would anyone give a fuck about what anyone else says? You're not going to get upset or offended unless what somebody says is true, or it hits something. You might not in your consciously realize that you're mad because what you're taking it to heart, and you're owning that shit because it's true, and you just don't see it. So you're reacting. Yeah, thank you, from old wounds or whatever, you know. But when all those things are healed, and you begin to see things differently, all the same things that used to work on you, that used to upset you, no longer do anymore. Nobody can get at you because you know who the fuck you are. I love you guys. Namaste. Peace.